Hello, welcome to Dropkick DiSKussions. This is now episode 5. My name's Gary Cassidy and today I get to welcome you to my favourite bar on the planet, which is nice. This is Rufus T. Firefly in Glasgow. My guest today needs no introduction, but I'm going to give him 2 words. Former ICW World Champion. No, that's more than 2.
Nah.
Former Impact Wrestler. No.
Nah.
Only need 2. It's yourself!
It's yourself! No
Grado,
heard that in 30 seconds.
Exactly, man. How's it going, Grado?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm kept busy. I've got my Fit My Dad podcast. I'm doing that every week. I'm still on the road wrestling. I'm no longer in Impact. My contract ran out in February. So basically, just since then, I've been doing a podcast and bits and bobs. I've got my game show, my test drive game show that's on BBC Scotland. And then, fingers crossed, we're waiting on confirmations on new series. He's a Scottish Squad and 2 Doors Down. So, and pantomime, which I do every year, which is a total graft. Which I love doing, man. I love doing it. It's every year. We do around 80 shows between the end of November all the way into January, man. So it's a graft and a half. But I love doing it. It's great. It's similarities between pantomime and wrestling.
I can imagine, man. That's my favourite thing that you've done recently. I love all your TV shows, obviously, man. Same with the test drive and absolutely amazing. But my favourite thing recently was seeing you back in ICW. Just a personal thing for me. But not just that. You came back at Shug's House Party 5. The guy that introduced you on the way back in, man. WWE Hall of Famer, Impact Wrestling Hall of Famer, Jeff Jarrett.
Jeff Jarrett is honestly one of the... I'm really close to Jeff. Obviously, I've not been as close to him recently because right now he's Vince McMahon's right hand man. He's on his jet. He's with him every day, so I don't get to talk to him as much, unfortunately, because the situation with WWE. He's no longer available to do ICW stuff, which is horrible because the plan was me and Double J for Fear and Loathing. So, you know, man, I was gutted because Jeff re-signed me. My contract was up with TNA a couple of years ago, and he managed to get that re-signed, and so we kind of created a wee relationship there because we were involved in that and the ITV World of Sport. So we got really close, and whenever I was in America, I was always in at Jarrett's gaff. Was there with his family, spending a lot of time with him over the summer 2 years ago. So for him to introduce me back was brilliant. I love that video watching back. It's just when he's got the Hall of Fame jacket and he goes, I got a guy, and he's from Stevenston. I mean, honestly, it's just the best feeling in the world because I've been away for ICW, man. I'd miss it so much, and definitely it's true what they say. The heart, what's it they say?
Absence makes the
heart go stronger. And so it was great to be back in ICW, and I must say I've never been so fevered about ICW than what I have been just now. I'm doing a feud now with Ravy Davey, and I'm loving it. I'm loving ICW just now.
Very similar to yourself.
Definitely, man. He's a boy that, I mean, he's got pictures of him coming up to me when he was a lot younger and just starting out with Grado signs in the front row and taking selfies with me. But I see a lot in Ravy Davey and myself, so I like to try and give him a wee bit of inspiration, try to show him the ropes. You know, basically to give him a bit of advice, man, because he's got a character, man. He's got a character there, and the biggest thing in wrestling is characters. That's what wrestling needs, a lot more characters. I find these days there's a lot of times doing wrestling where I'm watching and I feel as if some of the wrestlers are giving interviews and they're talking as if their own match of the day. You know what I mean? They're talking as if they're Philippines. You know, the match was good. It's missing that. You know what I mean? But a character, razzmatazz, all that, carry on. I love it, and Ravy Davies got that, so I'm loving working with him, and as I say, it's great to be back at ICW because that is my first place where they made me. It's the place where you know, everybody saw me, and the way ICW's been ran just now is the best it's been ran in years, so it's amazing to be back. There's the ICW crowd, the ICW fans are the best fans in the world. I get American wrestlers that, hey, you gotta get me an ICW, brother. You gotta get, because they want to come and see it because it's such a spectacle. I mean, my brother, who is not a wrestling fan by any means at all, he loves coming just to see it, man, just because it's just the live show you can yourself. Even if you don't like wrestling, give ICW a show. Give ICW a chance. I mean, it's got everything, for the music blasting, the crowd chanting, the wrestling's phenomenal, the stunts that we pull, the drama. It's like ECW and like what ECW was in the late 90s, and it's a very special company. And being back there, just love it.
Well, that's Yang said there about it being the best for your level going back. My next question was actually going to be, can it beat this one moment? My favourite Grado moment, my favourite ICW moment, one of my favourite moments in wrestling history.
Right,
SECC 2015.
Oh, me and Drew.
You and Drew, Mick Foley rooting you on, man. You end up with Mick Foley's vest. I know. You win the ICW World Heavyweight Championship.
And Mick Foley left his $20 bill in his pocket. I remember the next day going, "Oh yeah, dancer!" Fucking score more, brilliant. It was amazing. No, Drew is the best guy in the world to wrestle. I learned so much from him. I'm not the most technically gifted wrestler by any means. But he can help me. He helped me make me look like a star, and I love that match. When I go back, I've not watched it. I've not watched it a lot. It's the thing that always pops up on YouTube, and obviously the pop and the win is emotional as hell, man. It was great, and obviously for Foley to be there and as a big man like me was just something else. And to be proud of that, I'm proud of that because proud of that because we sold that like a month in advance, and we didn't have that many Yanks on it. We had Rhino on it, who was really just built in mid-caliber. Obviously we had Foley, he's part of it as well, but selling that show, Grado versus Drew, 4,500, 5,000 people, that was just amazing, man.
Well,
he told me, before that match, he's going, "Yeah, buddy, then what we're going to do, man, is I think we've got an idea for you to, I'll shoot you in the rope, shoot you in the elbow, and you give me the Hurricane Rana." I went, Hurricane Rana, you did after. He goes, "No, we'll do it." I went, so I was nervous before the match. My nerves completely went because I went, well, this is going to because I'm going to make this Hurricane Rana. But actually it ended up alright. The slowest, daftest Hurricane Rana, but it actually worked, and I did it a few times in TNA. I did it with Eli Drake. I can't else I done it on, but it's good to do that now and again because the crowd just don't expect me to do it. I thought me pudding like myself. I was pudding like myself. Hurricane Rana folk, it's a good feeling. So the Drew match was tremendous. Drew as a star, you heard The Rock saying in the papers the other week that he's the next big thing. He definitely is, man. Big handsome guy, promo skills, stupid accent. But other than that, he's a monster and he's a star.
Which you do a good impression of his accent, by the way. Say that. But you said there you're not the most technically gifted. The Hurricane Rana proved it. But I would say, technically gifted aside, you've got the thing that you said a lot of people are missing: charisma.
Well, you need charisma, man. You need somebody you need to make an impression as soon as you walk through the curtain, and that's what too many people these days, too many wrestlers walk down the ring to the generic music. They don't have much of a character. You need to buy into somebody right away. Somebody like Sha Samuels, look at Sha, man. He can just come out. He's got his character. He's nailed it. He's nailing it right now. He's so over right now with Mug of the Week. I'm saying this as his best mate, but still, he is. You just look at him, a character. He's a movie star, man. He could be Danny Dyer. He could be on EastEnders. Do you know what I mean? Characters like him is what we need more of. But you know what, ICW's got it. There's plenty of other wee guys as well. I love. I can't believe this is pathetic. Not his real name, but Leighton Buzzard. Leighton Buzzard's brilliant. He's excellent. Wee Kieran Kelly's tremendous. Kez Thingway, he's coming on to the game as well. There's a lot of promising upcoming guys in ICW, so it's looking good for the future. The guys at the Asylum are doing a great job. Jester, Wolfie, Andy, BT, and now Andy Wild.
Andy Wild.
So do you know what? There's no better place to go and train than to go to the Asylum.
Well, that's the thing. I would say my favourite thing about you. Don't want to keep putting you here, but my favourite thing about you. You went to America. You did not change. You were Grado, you were the same Grado as in ICW. Was that a conscious decision you made, or were you just like, I just need to be myself, because that's me?
I had to be myself. Don't get me wrong, there was a couple of backstage segments where they got me today and I thought, what the is this? Because they were getting me to quote phrases for a 70s American game show, and I'm like, how the punters going to believe that I would know phrases for a game show? Do you know what I mean? And so obviously I had to rein it in a wee bit. But the stuff that I enjoyed most when I was in America, near the tail end, was with Joe Hendry. I loved working with Joe. Joe is the man. He's gone to Ring of Honor now. He's total. The stuff I've done with him and Katriana. And sorry if I'm skipping. I'm just going along. But working with Abyss. Abyss is the most gentle giant. Loved him. And you know what? I got an opportunity one. We're doing TV tapings in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. We had 6 days, and Abyss was meant to wrestle the next night in a match in a Monsters Ball, but the wrestler had to pollute it. And they always say wrestling business is done at the bar, right? So I'm stunning with like JB, Billy Corgan, Hurricane Helms, and Abyss, and they're thinking they're trying to book who can we have in a Monsters Ball? I'll do it. I'll do it, no bother, right? And they're all laughing and going, whatever. The next day I turn up at TV tapings, we get handed out with creative, and I'm like, Hurricane Helms goes, Monsters Ball, kid, you got it tonight. So you're kidding me on, man. So we done it live on pay-per-view, it was January 2016, and I loved it. A Monsters Ball match came out, and the rebel and that was funny because Abyss is known for wearing a bum bag. He wears a fanny pack, right, all day, every day. He wears one. I mean, I wear one quite a lot. Look at one on me today. But the ribbon, that was funny because you know, I come out and dance and open the challenge, and he comes out and he goes, "What kind of man wears a fanny bag?" And I'm like, "Can you be the man of f***ing day?" And I always really goes, You like dancing? You want to go to the ball? Let's go to the Monsters Ball. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. That was because you know what? I was a mega. See when I was young, I believe I was the first ever guy to see a TNA show in Scotland, because they done June 19th, 2002. They done Wednesday night pay-per-views, and somebody recorded the show for me on a Wednesday, and I managed to get. This is before torrents and downloads and shit. And I managed to get the show on the Monday, and I believe I'm the very first Scottish person that's seen a TNA show. So for me to be involved in a Monsters Ball, a live show, was something else, man. I loved it. Don't get me wrong about for Glory match, it was a nightmare, but that's a completely different story.
Who cares about championships? That's the single best wrestling achievement of all time. We're the first guy in Scotland to
loved it. I see the first time.
Well, guys, just going to chuck a few names at here. There's The Rock, there's John Cena, there's The Miz, there's Batista, and there's Grado.
Right, okay.
What have they all got in common? You all transcend wrestling. That's what you've got in common.
Transcend,
every single one of you took it to acting. You're in Scott Squad, you're in Two Doors Down.
Well, I always say, everybody else, I said this last week, I said this all the time, but folk will be getting pissed off with me saying this, but you know, The Rock's done movies, he's done The Mummy, he's done Scorpion King. Episodes I never said, is he done?
Definitely, man.
But I'm transcending. You've got to do that, man. It's I love that wrestling, my passion, has got me has given me a pathway for me to act and be on the stage. When I was young, I always wanted to be on the stage, man. Ever since I was a wee boy, it didn't matter whether it was wrestling or acting or being on the stage, I wanted to be an entertainer, man. That's what I wanted to be. And sometimes I need to sit back and how I look at a mirror, you know. I did Two Doors Down, and I sat there, and that was a programme that I watched with my mum and dad. That was a show that meant so much to me. It was a show that we watched every week, and I believe Two Doors Down is brilliant. I love it. And I remember I was in Florida, and I got the email, "Would you like to be my guest appearance in Two Doors Down?" It was brilliant. So I mixing the wrestling and the acting, it's great. I mean, and not only that, a wee exclusive as well. Here's a wee story for you. I was actually working in the fire brigade for 10 years.
Oh, right.
Only up until Christmas. No many folk on us. I worked in the control room in the fire brigade. I took 999 calls, and so I was juggling wrestling acting, and the fire brigade. So I was like sometimes doing TNA shows, TNA loops. I was doing like maybe Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, flying home on Friday night, landing to Glasgow Airport at 4 in the morning, sleeping for 2 hours in Glasgow Airport, and then going to a day shift in the fire brigade. Then going to a day of booking that night somewhere in Scotland, wrestling at night. It was a time where I was just constantly, I mean I still am busy, but that's what was happening. Had so many different things going on, and I had to cut the fire brigade off, which obviously I didn't want to do because I take great pride in being in the fire service. It was brilliant. You can actually find a video of me online. I got on one of my first night shifts in the fire brigade, I took a call to a couple that were trapped inside a tenement building, no far from here. They were trapped in a fire, and the lady and the guy the lady was pregnant. There was a guy, and they were trapped in a bathroom. There was no windows. There was smoke in like the 9th or 10th floor, and I was on the phone call for 40 minutes, helping them get through it, try to instruct them until the firefighters came, you know. So I'm on the phone, the guy, I always remember the guy's name was Gary, and I'm going, Gary, how's the smoke that's coming through that's coming through the doors? Well, Gary, get your jeans off, mate, get the smoke, stop the smoke from coming in, and I'm like, just think positive, your girlfriend's pregnant, just think positive, they're going to get through this. And it lasted 40 minutes, and I ended up getting a commendation off the fire brigade, which is like an achievement award type thing, and that ended up being on STV News. That was in 2009. You can find that on YouTube somewhere. It's about 10 stone ago. The only 10 stone ago. So like being in the fire brigade was such a privileged thing for me to be. It was brilliant. I loved it. But it just came to a point where, you know, I was always asking for days after wrestling, and the novelty of people working for me was wearing thin. Do you know what I mean? I'd go, can you work for me on Saturday night? I've got that show. And like the first couple of times they'd be like, oh, I'm helping Grado's career. Then I go to the point and it's like, right, Grado, you're taking a piss here, like, you know, this is too many things, you know, it's too many Saturday nights and leading up. So I had to make the move and bite the bullet and leave the fire brigade, which was sad, but you know what, it's so far, it's fingers crossed it's working well. I'm still being kept busy, and I'm still enjoying it.
The reason you had to leave was obviously because you're wrestling daft.
Wrestling daft.
That leaves us on a little bit exclusive that you said you were going to get.
Well, so I do football daft with you and Callum each week, which I'm really enjoying. I've always wanted to do a podcast. Because we're always on the road, we're listening to podcasts is a big thing that the boys do. We listen to, and I remember I bought equipment, £300 worth of equipment for podcast equipment a couple of years ago. I don't even. My plan was always to do a podcast because I love just sitting talking shite. And you and Cameron asked me to do it, Football Daft, and the organisers, or should I say the media company, the Full Network, they've asked if I wanted to do Wrestling Daft, a wrestling podcast. So we've got a co-host who I think is going to be, it's going to surprise a lot of people who it's going to be. I can't announce who it is yet because he's not signed on the dotted line, but I hope it gets announced soon because I think it's going to be really good. I think hopefully get guys like you to come on. And we base a lot of Football Daft. We base a lot of it around the fans, so we want to get the fans involved. So we've got a feature on Football Daft now where punters can phone in and, you know, give their opinions and all that. So we want to have that on Wrestling Daft. Fans phoning in, wrestlers coming from around the world. Wee bit of comedy, wee bit of chit chat, promoting shows, British guys promoting stuff. So look out for that in the coming weeks and months, man.
Definitely, man. Wrestling fans are always passionate, so you can't
you know
you're going to get passion. We know that's coming up. Obviously, you're back in ICW.
Yeah.
You said about the TV shows. Hopefully, Scott Squad's going to come back.
Yep.
Baby Davey, you're going up against. You mentioned that earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else next for Grado? What's your ambition? Where are you planning on going for here? You're just going to keep grinding away, or have you got some end goal?
I don't know. I don't even know. You know what? Do you know what? I've done my Grados big family wrestling bash at the pavilion. So you know I've been doing pantomime at the pavilion for the last 4 years. And when ITV World of Sport toured, they decided not to go to Glasgow because it's quite a polluted market. Polluted is maybe not the word, but what do you call that? Like oversaturated the market. So they didn't want to go there. But I had a lot of families going, well, we want to come and see World of Sport. So I spoke to the guy that runs the pavilion. I says, why don't we put on a version of like style of World of Sport and have it in the theatre, and he says that's a great idea. So in May we done 1,100 people, family show, and I wanted it again. I always want to aim my shows at families, because you've got to remember a lot of the wrestling crowds, a lot of the wrestling fans is young children, and it's easier to impress the children. They can get hooked and they can get involved and loved it, but it's trying to get the parents to be, because you don't want the parents going, hurry up. So that's why when I booked it, I loved it. I wanted a lot of drama. That's why, you know, we booked a set with like some like big creator, right, who is like 36 stone, big, heavy, massive, big huge heavyweights wrestle. Which, by the way, ITV wanted him to be called Stench, which I thought would have been a great name, Stench. Right, mate. You maybe know that. You maybe know like me saying this. But anyway, creator. So, for example, we done a thing with an open challenge creator, and his end in the back. Mark Dallas was his heater, his mouthpiece, and his end in the back, and him to come back, end in the back that wants to come out and fight this guy. Wee Kieran Kelly came out and she just division. You know what I mean? Kieran Kelly, who's nice, so soaking wet, and he's a big guy division. Things like that. The families love that. You know what I mean? They get to see that. You know, we messed about with the music. We had Jester, and I wanted them coming out to beautiful people. You know, you know what I mean? Putting the lights. All the production was perfect. You know, because you want it. We had pyro, you know, on the stage. So it was just to try to put on a show that would engage the children, but also the mums and dads coming as well, and adding drama and adding wee storylines on it. You know, we had the opener with Martin Kirby, who's one of the most underrated wrestlers in the world. He can work comedy, can work fast style, hardcore, anything he can do it. And we had him against Justin Sizem, who again looks like a movie star. He's a great guy. So my future is I would like to do more of that, take that on the road, get those big family wrestling bash, and get more folk involved in that. As I say, wrestling fans enjoy all types of wrestling, but it's trying to get transcend the mums and the dads and the people who might not be quite so sure it. Do you know what I mean?
Bringing their ways more often and they enjoying it.
Exactly, man, because they've got to enjoy it as well.
Excellent, man. Well, I've only got one more question for you. We've spoken a lot about wrestling. I need to ask you one very controversial question.
Alright, when you go, mate.
I know you're a Rangers man, we like myself.
Right.
Dado Posso or Nacho Novo?
Nacho Novo, because I speak to him every day.
That's an easy one.
Well, not every day. Like, hold on, that's embarrassing. That's it again.
So I've got one final question for you, man. I know we speak a lot about wrestling,
right.
We have done here. You're a Rangers man, much like myself.
Right.
Got one controversial question to ask you.
Oh no, here we go.
Nacho Novo or Dado Posso?
Nacho Novo, because he's agreed to come on my podcast, my Football Dad podcast.
And there's another exclusive right there.
Or if Dado, if you want to come on it as well, mate, come on.
You need to wear a heatband or a bum bag around your heat. Speaking of bum bags, we're also going to be giving away a signed Grado bum bag. Just as part of this podcast, you can retweet, share, like, we'll have the competition up on Twitter. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and I just want to say thanks again for all the British wrestling fans. You know what? We done in 2012, ICW done a Vice documentary, which then led to a BBC documentary, and it gave us a platform to show who we ICW, who we kind of. I just want to also say to the British wrestling fans, in 2012 we done a Vice documentary. It followed me, ICW, followed some other British wrestling companies. But thanks to all the British wrestling fans for coming out and coming to see our shows and making their dreams come true, because you know when we first started wrestling in the early 2000s, you know, we were wrestling in front of 60, 70 people. It was there was no production values, an entrance coming at a fire exit. You know what I mean? The grim assembly halls with the red curtains and all that, it just instantly gave you the fear. But I just want to thank all the fans that have ever came out through the years, who've managed to put their money in their pocket, come to the shows and supported us so that we can make our product better, we can have the fancy lights, the better rings, better equipment to put on a better show.
100%. Well, thank you so much for joining me, man.
Bother, my man.
Absolute pleasure.
Thanks
Cheers,
very much.
man. Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers, troops.